I finally got a box. What's going on, everybody? It's been a pretty busy 2 weeks. I know I've been kind of distant, not posting too many videos. I've been doing a little bit of traveling and a ton of fishing. So last week I was down in Alabama with my buddy Steven. We fished some private ponds down there for 2 days. We caught over 200 fish in probably 18 hours or less of fishing. It was absurd. It was one of the best trips I've ever been on, bass fishing wise. It was awesome. It was so much fun. Cannot wait to get back there. Yesterday I was out fishing with my buddy Dennis. We went back to that crazy spot where we have to rip the boat over the rapids and the dam, and then we obviously ended up in a few other fun adventures. So I hope you guys are looking forward to those videos coming up. It'll be later this week. Today's Wednesday. You guys are gonna see this the same day that I'm filming. Just wanted to give you a quick update, and I figured I'd show you all of the tackle that I have accrued over the last year or so of musky fishing. I have quite a few different baits. You know, a ton of bucktails. I have some gliders, a couple dive and rises, some rubbers. You guys let me know in the comment section below if you think I'm missing anything, if you want to see me try something different. I am completely open-minded with trying different lures. I'm still very green to this and very new at fishing muskies, so I figured I'd just show you what I got. I also want to show you my current rod setup. I also got some new rods coming in, which I'm super stoked for, and I'm going to grab those when I head up north next week. I'm going on like a 4 or 5 day musky fishing trip in Ohio and Wisconsin, which I am just so stoked for. I cannot wait to go do it. I'm exhausted. Yesterday I left the house at 4 a.m. I had zero sleep because I had to do some mystery tackle box videos for those guys, and then I got home at 10. I edited or trimmed those clips up until about 2 in the morning, and then I had to get all of my gear ready and get my boat ready, and then drive up to PA 2 hours away, and then we fished until dark, and that's including all of the crazy stuff we had to go through to get the boat up to the hole. But yeah, and tonight I'm fishing the Wednesday night tournament. It's only noon right now, so that's where I've been the last week. So you guys are fully up to date. We're gonna take a look at these baits real quick. Alright guys, so I want to show you some of these gliders that I've gotten over about the last year, starting with the DJ Customs. This is the newest glider that I have. Dennis makes and paints his own baits now, and these are awesome. I don't want to give anything away, but something very similar to this may have caught a fish yesterday. This is one of the first ones that he actually completely made and painted himself. He also hooked me up with this dive and rise. He got a follow on this last time we fished in the first 3 casts. It was a big fish too. It was actually like a gigantic fish. It was nuts. Those are some of my DJ Customs. A couple other gliders that I have. Both these are from Mark King. Actually, I'm going to be fishing with him in Ohio next week, which I'm stoked for. He's the first person who ever hooked me up with a glider, and this is the first glider that I ever got. Both of these have an awesome action to it. They fall a little bit slower than the DJ Custom, but it's nice because when you're fishing in shallow water, you don't have to worry about it getting stuck too much. But he painted me up this walleye pattern. He gave me this back at Muskie Max like 2 months ago, and I've been fishing this a bunch. I haven't had any follows on it yet. Actually, I think I may have had 1 follow on this, and I've had a few follows on this glider, but I'll be fishing with the man himself next week, so I'm sure he has a ton of other gliders he'll let me throw around. I'm looking forward to checking those out. That's pretty much all of my glider selection. Are really small little twitch baits that I've gotten, and I'll throw these almost every time I go out, especially when my arm starts getting real tired. These things look great. I've never had a follow on either of these, but I know they work year round, so I'm just gonna keep tossing these around as much as possible and hopefully catch a fish on one of these bad boys. Next up, we're gonna take a look at some of these rubber baits that I've gotten over the last few months. So these have quickly become some of my favorite baits to throw. This is the first Medussa that I've actually ever got. I had a $25 Bass Pro gift card. I picked this thing up as soon as I got it, and I think the second time that I ever fished it, I caught that fish with Dennis out on the Potomac. And this is the regular size Medussa. I don't exactly know how much it weighs, but it's pretty damn big. It's really hard to fish in shallow water, and I was saying that in one of my videos that I fished the Shenandoah, because typically the areas that I'm fishing on the Shenandoah are pretty shallow. So Brian Scaife, who works with Chaos Tackle, hit me up and he was like, hey, you should try some of the mid Medussas or the mini Medussas, because they're going to be a little bit lighter. You're going to be able to fish them a lot easier in that shallow water. So he sent me a little care package with some of the mid Medussas, and those are just a little bit smaller than the regular size. You know, they're almost the same length, but it's definitely lighter, significantly lighter actually, which is really cool. I have a little bit of trouble getting them to run straight, but I'm trying to tune them up just right when I'm out on the water. And you know, these baits are awesome to throw. It's just one of my favorite things to throw, and not just because I've caught fish on it. I just feel like the fish are gonna see these things and they're gonna be like so interested in it, and they want to follow it and they want to go after it and at least follow. But I have caught one fish on a rubber, and then I also missed a giant on an all black regular size Medussa that Dennis was letting me throw around one day. And you obviously can't forget the little baby guy. Got a couple of jerk baits here. This is one of the first musky lures I ever got from Bass Pro Shops, probably a little bit over a year ago. And then printed bait, actually. I don't think, yeah, it's gotta be printed. It looks too realistic. I haven't thrown this around too much yet, but I definitely needed to give that a shot. I've got two spinner baits in this box. One spinnerbait actually, which I got from Patterson's Custom Baits down at the Richmond Fishing Expo. I've thrown this thing around quite a bit, haven't had any action on it yet, but I'm sure the time and place will come where I'll be throwing this and definitely get a big old follow. This, my friends, is actually the newest bait that I've gotten from TNA Tackle. You guys are familiar with the Angry Dragon. What they did is added a spinnerbait arm on there with a big black Colorado blade. I threw this around yesterday a bit. This thing has some serious thump. Again, I've only, you know, caught 6 muskie in my life, so there's no way I could catch fish on every single one of these baits. I hope one day that I will have caught fish on every single one of these, but till then, these are all nice to have and they're nice to experiment with. It's the same thing as when you're starting to bass fish and you catch a fish on a Senko and then you're like, well, let me try a spinnerbait, and then you say, oh, let me throw a crankbait around for a little bit, and then you want to try to learn how to throw a jig. It's just, that's where I'm at right now. I have all these baits. I've caught fish on maybe 4 different baits. Just good to have. Gotta learn sometime, you know. Got a big old whopper plopper. This is the biggest whopper plopper you can buy. I had, actually one of our subs sent me this. I was gonna throw this around the end of the day yesterday, but I did not get around to it. It's a huge whopper plopper. It's gigantic. Like compared to the little small ones I throw for bass, this thing is huge. That about covers it as far as the majority of the baits that I have. And now we have to talk about the Bucktails. I have a ton of different Bucktails in here. These aren't Bucktails, guys. These are actually Angry Dragons. So I'll show you these and then we'll get into the Bucktails, I just realized. So you've seen this one. I've thrown this around a bit. It's a nice Fire Tiger half-sized dragon. That's just crazy. It's so bright. It looks so good. I know that thing's gonna catch a fish for me one day. This is the first Angry Dragon I ever got. Real natural color, giant chatterbaits. That's what these are. They're gigantic chatterbaits. Got another rubber skirt. This is like a watermelon, red flake, and black. Another really sweet Angry Dragon. The guys at TNA Tackle are awesome dudes. They send me, you know, a couple packages a year with different baits they're working on, or like they hooked me up with the Spin Dragon like last week. Todd sent me a message. He was like, hey, we're working on this new bait. I'm gonna send it over. And then like the next day it was at my house. So I'm glad I had it. I got to fish it yesterday. It was really, really cool. And then we have a ton of Bucktails. I mean, look at my box. All of these are Bucktails. Half of the box is Bucktails. And I've got so many different kinds. I've got single blades from Bite Back Baits. This is their trilogy blade. They sent us quite a few. Half of these are Dennis's. I forgot to give them to him yesterday. This one here from Aaron Pratt, Churning Waters Guide Service. I fished the crap out of this thing yesterday. It's a really nice small bucktail. I figured it would work really good in clean water, and I actually did have a follow on this yesterday, so that was pretty sweet. I was half asleep throwing it, and then I pulled the bait out of the water, and then I just see this tail going away. I was like, oh great, that's awesome. Esox Assault. Huge thank you to everyone who has helped me grow my bait selection. Like, I really truly do appreciate that. I love all the baits that I have. I try to fish them as much as I possibly can. And it's cool to learn all these different baits and how to fish them, or, you know, try to fish them properly. But that's about it for you guys. Look at that. It's gigantic. I have some retired over here. So actually this one's not retirement. This one needs to go in the box. But this is a CCB. I love these so much. This is the CCB that I caught my first 40-inch fish on. First time I ever fished with Dennis, he linked up with these guys and they were like, bring a couple of these for Matt. And I started throwing this one around. Caught me my first 40-inch fish. So I retired this one. And this one was from Colin Pluta. I caught my PB on this one the time after I fished with the CCB. So I retired this one too. I'm gonna stop retiring baits unless I catch one over 50, I think. But I just kind of like, you know, to have them. Don't want to piss off the musky gods. But that's another sweet one. It's musky magnet. Great bait. Super sick. Caught a blue marlin on that. Got a musky. Just a little bigger and saltier. All right, let's go take a look at this rod. Get some light in here for you guys. Good old boat. Needs a little work here. Got a little bent up this weekend. Here is my current musky rod setup. I have a Daiwa Lexa 300, 80-pound Power Pro, which I've been told to switch from. I've experienced no problems with it. None. I think it's good line, but I'm sure there will be a time that I will be switching from that if, you know, I have any issues. Right now it's not doing me any harm, so I'm gonna keep throwing it, but if you guys have a better suggestion to switch to a different line, I might check it out. I have that running to a 100-pound monofilament leader, and that's on a Gander Mountain 8'6", extra heavy. And that is the old musky setup, boys. So I have a couple other rods. Like I said, I'll be picking up here shortly. I'm pretty excited to try those out. I think they're a little bit bigger actually, like 9-footers, 9.6. Woo! Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've got to get ready for this tournament. I've got almost too much editing to do, which is never a bad thing. I enjoy it. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update, show you some of these baits. Hope you guys have been having a good week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. I think it's over in that corner. It might be in that corner. I'm not sure. But I'll see you on the next one.